you have done an amazing job of focusing on your life, focusing on yourself, focusing on your growth, and not really speaking and talking to the talking heads of the world. And so here at Fly on the Wall Studios, sitting on this couch where you're safe and everything's comfortable, we thank you for coming in and having this conversation with us dads.
I've always known that you was gonna be a rock star. Way back, little itty bitty, and I was like, yo, powerful. I mean, it's little baby.
Yeah.
It's powerful. And I've known since then, he's gonna just change the world.
So when you talk about a kid who's in school, you also talk about a kid who runs her own business, who is the CEO of her own business.
Boss.
It takes a special gift. It takes a special person to be open to saying, hey, I'm just on this person's journey.
At the end of the day, you're the one looking at yourself in the mirror, nobody else. So do what you need to do, not what other people need you to do.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Timeout. Today we have a very special guest on the show, but before we get to our guest, let me introduce my co-host, Bob Metellus.
Just Bob.
Chris Johnson.
Coach's Corner.
And our guest today is Zaya Wade. What's up, Zaya?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Welcome to the Timeout. Can we get some Zaya Wade love in here? Can we get some welcome to...
Well, thank you.
Zaya, have you ever watched our show?
Yes.
Okay.
I watched the kind of premiere episode. And it was amazing. Since then, okay, but
See, your kids always want you to support them, but are they supporting you?
okay, but see you see now. See now, it's different though. It's different. That's your job. That's your job. That was the house and the food and everything else. Yeah, like you got it.
It's all good. I just want to start off.
But aren't I getting these A's though? But
we definitely gonna get to that. All right. So the first question goes to me, and we're here on our Timeout show, which we talk a lot of sports on this show. And I wanted you to come and sit on this show. One, because there's other fathers on this show, there's other dads. And there's other different perspectives outside of just your father that that can ask questions and you can give that feedback. But sports is a part of our life. As I see you sit there with that Wade 9 shirt on underneath that Mew Mew jacket that you're rocking. Very nice outfit, by the way.
thank you.
Can we talk about sports? Because everybody out there, all the comments that I get, they always be like, does Zaya play sports? Does Zaya know how to dribble? Blah, 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 blah. Have you ever liked basketball?
Yes, yeah. And I still do to this day. Playing is interesting, but supporting, it's like you could literally say it's in my blood. So, of course, I played it when I was a kid and in school and everything. And I, not to toot my own horn, but I was a bit of a natural. And every once in a while it's fun. I was on like a little retreat with some classmates recently and we with
Zaynab?
Yeah, and smoked him, but it's fine. I still I can do what I can do. Okay, I can do what I can do.
See what I'm saying?
So you're
I can line it up. I still have a couple skills. Dribbling, I don't know, but
you grew up.
Shot,
you grew up sitting in row 3.
I watched it my whole childhood, and then you get home and your brothers play it, so you play it your whole childhood too. So
so you can hoop a little bit.
I can.
So everybody out there. Yes. You can't dribble.
Exactly.
It exists. I would need to.
DNA is in there.
I would need to refine it a little bit, but the raw talent is still there.
But you're an athlete.
Oh, straight up.
That I do know.
Bro, listen, I got this video sent to me. Zaya playing flag football.
Caption flag.
Caption flag.
Oh my goodness.
An intense.
Boom! Let me run that back. I sent it to you.
You sent it to me. Yeah, you sent it to me.
Oh my goodness.
That was a fun day. It was like a spirit week thing, and I just signed up because
you was playing with a spirit.
You were playing with
it
spirit.
was Spirit Rally. I had to.
I'm gonna attribute that to her growing up in Miami because we all about speed, and that was speed, right?
Well,
speed. Super speed.
With all this leg length I got from you, I have to be fast. I can't be slow with all this. That makes no sense.
We'll throw some Miami.
Well, you gave that to Miami?
Living in Miami.
Yeah,
yes.
you
This is called genetics. This is called DNA. You look Miami.
Yes.
That's crazy. Well, you a Miami boy.
Yes,
He
I
did
am.
take it to Miami.
You see that?
305.
That was crazy.
305. But yes. And genetics too, though.
Yes.
Oh. It could be culture and
All genetics.
It could be genetics and the environment.
No, respect.
What about volleyball?
Oh, I love volleyball. I mean, it's one of my favorite sports to play, and like probably like third favorite to watch behind basketball. Don't worry. And I don't know. I love it. I was a libero, which is crazy because I'm super long, and you're like not supposed to be long and be a libero, but whatever. I'm very like active.
What
I get
is a
down
libero?
literally.
Just so
Yeah, please.
I get down,
No,
okay.
because I'm a new volleyball dad,
Right.
and so I had to learn. Like I'm learning everything about volleyball. So what is
that
libero?
makes sense. Okay, so I mean, it's a position played on like the kind of like back corner of the players, and your job is just to like save the ball when it's like about to go out. It's the ones you're seeing who like dive on the ground and like
It's
grab
the
everything.
athlete.
They put in a lot of work to make sure that the ball stays up in the air.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. It's a lot of like endorphins, and like I said, I'm fast.
Yeah.
And not even just fast, but I'm long, so it's really easy to get from one point to another in time. And since even though it's technically it counts, you can still like you can use your like other body parts in volleyball. If you need to save a ball, you can like kick it too.
Really?
Which
Yes.
I did not know.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then I saw somebody do it, and I
You
was
said
like,
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the only sports other than like soccer, because technically you can use like your head and other stuff, but it's one of the only sports where you can use multiple body parts as like a
Really?
I saw someone do that, and I was like,
Clean
they
play.
cheating.
So the ball's going on like
So you can't like just kick at any time, but if it's like about to go out, or you know, it's like to save it and you can't reach it, you can like kick your foot out and save it.
And that
There's a
counts.
bit of style with this, some finesse. Some people will this is like you're playing, but whatever. They'll put their hand on the ground because they know it's about to fall. So it's like they do like a cool little thing and they like let it fall and bounce up on their hand and somebody will grab it. There's like a lot of cool things you can do, but
Style.
it's not meant for that. It's just to save the ball. So long legs,
Yeah.
determination. It's a good
So
sport.
for everybody out there, Zaya Wade is an athlete.
Yes. I just choose other things.
That's dope.
Choice.
It's
Yeah,
a choice.
it's a choice.
But
Yeah.
I have the potential and the ability.
Well, Zaya, welcome to the show. This show for us is important. One, because this show will air on your 18th birthday. All right. So this is very important to us. This is a very important day for you. 1/8 coming up. And also, too, we wanted to get an audience of viewers out here who, you know, only know your name, know of you, a little portion of you. We wanted to give them an opportunity to get to know you. And, you know, you have done an amazing job of focusing on your life, focusing on yourself, focusing on your growth, and not really speaking and talking to the talking heads of the world. And so here at Fly on the Wall Studios, sitting on this couch where you're safe and everything's comfortable, we thank you for coming in and having this conversation with us, dads.
Of course.
I mean, all right, so tell us, talk. Where you at? What's going on in life right now for Zaya Wade?
So many things. Okay, the most obvious stuff is like school, I guess. You know, senior year. I mean, you know.
Prom.
Prom, that was so much fun. Those photos are out. Go look. Yeah, that was such a time. I mean, prom wasn't like a thing for me until like prom day. Like I didn't really I don't know how much I was gonna like give until like the dress was on, the makeup was on, the hair was on, the jewelry. I was like, oh yeah, like there's like a point to prom. Like it's cool. I mean, it's not Met Gala cool, but it's you kind of outdid me like that same
It's
period in
like
time.
high school Met Gala moment. Though.
Honestly, I mean, you know, everyone's showing up in really good outfits, and then there's an after party, and you show up in less good outfits. I mean, it's the same thing, and you see like who brings who, because that's the really important part. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much Zay's told you, but it was a fun time.
You don't know how much Zay told you. It's crazy.
She don't want to out him out.
No, I didn't ask. That's my whole thing, because that's his prom. But at the same time, you know, my son Isaiah and Zaya, they've been going to school together since they were 7th grade.
7th grade, yeah.
So I've been watching them both just like grow up with their own experiences.
We got that photo of them in 7th grade, first
sent
day.
it to you. Remember, you guys had, I don't know if you remember the court case.
Oh my God, mock trial.
I got the photo.
That
So
was.
I walked in, I see Zaya, I see Isaiah, I go up top, and I watch him in the mock trial.
Yeah.
And
That was
it
such a
was
time.
super dope. I took a photo and I sent it to D, and then I think earlier this year it popped up on my phone.
Yeah, you sent it
And I
back to
sent it to him.
That's dope.
Mock trial is always something that will stick with me, especially that I lost. But whatever.
Yeah, you were hot about that too.
I was so mad. I was so correct too, but whatever. Anyways, law is not my way to go. But yeah, it's the end of the year, so it's like I'm feeling a little antsy. Ready to. I'm like, I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm not super duper stuck on my past. Love the connections that I made and the people that I met and the teachers and all that, especially the teachers. I feel I do have really good connections with the teachers that I met and stuff like that. It was a very good experience, but I have other experiences waiting. So I'm very ready to
go.
Get
I'm
to
looking
those.
at Isaiah. I know for sure you ready to fly the coop. I mean, graduation within 4 weeks.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I know for sure you ready to fly the coop. I'm looking at him like his wings starting to just.
Yeah, he ready to get out.
He ready to get out.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at him because that's the same
chapter.
thing.
Yeah.
Next chapter.
I mean, so speaking of next chapter, you've been knowing Zaya since Zaya was 2, 3.
Rough, yeah.
Right around the time, really getting a chance to be around her when she moved to Miami, and I was. The crew came down. You got a chance to be around 2, 3. You've been photographing her. You've been having cameras around our family since she was 2 or 3.
Oh my gosh, she's brought me back. Yeah, it's been so cool to watch you grow up and just be who you are in this world.
I can't take a compliment.
just make your mark.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? To me, I've always known that you're going to be a rock star. I've always known that. It's funny because even it's something that's so small as far as I always look at the when you proposed to Gab.
Yeah, that photo.
And she was there and she had the photo and then you was talking. And I remember I was interviewing her way back, little itty bitty, and I was like, yo, powerful. I mean, it's Lil Baby.
Yeah.
It's powerful. And I've known since then he's going to just change the world. And it's crazy. And I know that's hyperbole. Now everyone says, oh, you're going to... No, it was just something... Because it was a light there.
Yeah.
For you, do you think you've... did you recognize that in yourself? Or were you just living life? Just I'm just who I am?
No, I got it. I knew I had it. It was obvious. It was obvious in my demeanor, in my humor, in my fashion sense, though awful looking back, but good at the time. And I mean, how can you not? I mean, look who I come from. You know what I mean? And what I come from and where I'm born, where I'm raised and all that, the experiences that I get. So it's hard not to think that you can do something and change the world in some way when you have that upbringing. So I think I knew. I mean, it sounds a little egotistical, but
But it's your life.
Hey,
it's
your life.
journey.
I mean, I don't know. I went into it with a lot of confidence.
I'd rather see you at 17 say you knew you had it and you know what's in you versus there's some 17-year-old kids that don't know jack shit.
Right.
You ask them, they I don't know. And that's the answer. You're like, whoa. You don't know what? We've been giving you the answer. You know the answer. You state the answer.
She's been preparing for it.
You do it with confidence.
She's been like that. When you know your path, right? When you know where I'm trying to get to. It's one thing where you just kind of I'm just trying to figure this life. I'm just gonna just fall into where I'm gonna fall into.
People just go with the flow,
Right.
Bob. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Just
No,
deal
you're
with
right.
kids. I'm telling you. You
100%.
ask a question.
No, I know.
She's been bashful. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but
There's
because
power
you
in
may
that.
not be on my level. But at the same time, I want my kids to brag. I'm
Yes,
putting into
that's
them
beautiful.
something that can't nobody take away.
Yeah.
Because the world gonna tell you what you ain't.
All
So,
day, every day.
If the world gonna tell you, you might as well say, I believe.
Yeah.
Because who else can believe?
Facts.
Yeah.
It starts with you.
Yeah.
I think that's so important, bro. So I know what I'm trying to do at the house. I'm trying to put that. Hey, you great. And for you to know, that's awesome. Don't be bashful about that.
Zaya has always had a special. Every parent think their kids are special. That's first.
Sure,
When they're a certain age,
Right.
when they get a certain age, you be like, nah, that boy ain't got it. Nah, she ain't. But when they're young,
You right,
and
boy.
small, you be like,
You right.
oh, I'm telling you. But when they're young, you be like, ooh, boy, man, look, Go ahead and show them. Go ahead and tell them.
Go ahead and show 'em.
But I think Zaya is one kid that we all was around at a very young age, and we was like, it's something special about this little human.
Yes.
In the way that she moved, the way she talked, you know, and she was very cocky when she was young. Like right now, she's being real humble, but when she was young, she'll let you know.
That's
She let you know right away.
This is
I'm
the
the smartest
result of
person in this house.
I'm only humble now because of my upbringing. I was bad. And I was told I was bad. So I learned. No, I think a thing like for me, you know, when you ask a kid like, oh, like what do you want to be when you grow up? Like that, which by the way, I kind of despise that question, but whatever. You know, they say something. I'm sure Zaya was like a basketball player, which great, you know, and yeah. And I thought to myself, I think there was a long period of time where I might have said fashion designer. I feel like that was a good chunk of time. But I wanted to be like everything I could be. Like I wanted to be like an author and this and that. And I wanted to like do, I don't know, whatever I was into at that moment. And I think there was a point in time where I realized like I actually like could be whatever. You know what I mean? Like you can say like, I want to be an astronaut and whatever. And that's great. You know what? Do that. Couldn't be me, but do that.
Right.
But some people, I feel like there's something that they want to be, and then there's something that they're really, really good at. And you can do that thing that you're good at, and you can still want. But there are a lot of things that I've wanted to be that I like truly believe that I am or could be good at. Like and I think that instilled me with a lot of confidence. Like in like knowing what I want or setting a plan or like a future, is that I've always been confident that like I can do whatever I want to do in the future. Like I don't want things for myself that feel so super like unattainable that I like can't do it. I mean, it's nice to dream, but like when I said as like a kid, like I want to be a scientist, and it's like, right, like here I am getting like A's in AP biology. Like I'm not cutting myself short all the time. Or like I said I wanted to be a writer, and like, you know, I mean, it's, you know, kid stuff, but like, yeah, like I've written my own little like personal short stories and showed them to you guys. And I mean,
they were not short stories.
Anyways,
you've written novels.
Yeah, I mean,
like she's been writing her own books and novels since she was a kid. And I mean, and I think one thing cool for me as a parent is I got a chance to get to know her through that. And even though it was characters that came from another universe when she would write, it was never like John and Bob. It was, she would use, you know, she would come from a whole different place and use different characters and, you know, and go in a different way. But I knew that was her way of expressing herself. And so I would read it, and I would get to know Zaya by reading the characters that she was creating, in a sense, right? And so she's been doing it for so long.
Was that intentional?
Well, it wasn't an accident that most of my characters were queer.
Can we say
so
that?
Then,
that's
queer?
Can you say queer?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't use it the wrong way, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm from the South.
I mean, that's a great question as well.
I can hit you with that.
Right, but you see what I'm saying though. Being from Texas.
Yeah.
People use stuff like in Texas there's only steers and queers. Like steer is like.
I'm not gonna laugh.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like it would be inappropriate for me to be like, yo, that's queer, because you know people only say things that are joking.
Yeah.
So for me to even hear it, I think I heard it one other time when somebody said, I'm like, you can say that? So I don't know. Like I'm just trying to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, queer is an umbrella term for, like, I mean, anything that's not.
Educate us,
like,
because a lot of people out here do not know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, like the term like LGBTQ or, you know, plus all the like denominations, but like the Q stands for queer. Like we wouldn't add that if we didn't want to use it.
Okay.
And
I don't know that.
Like
Makes sense.
In my mind, if somebody was like, well, what does queer mean? Like that's kind of the point, is there's not a big meaning. It's kind of whatever. All of them fall under queer except for transgender, because it's just a gender thing, not a sexuality thing, which I'll get into later. I don't want to get too into it. People like to associate sexuality and gender a lot, but whatever.
Yes, they do.
Same with like the I, intersex. It's also a gender thing, but yeah, queer is anything you want to be. Like you could really fit them all in a category if you don't want a label for like a specific label for your sexuality. Like you don't know who you like, which I feel like is very just true for the experience, especially of kids. Like it's hard to really know as one singular fact, like who you like, what you like, all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to be able to throw it in this little umbrella. and to not have to
Okay.
just be
Didn't know
so
that.
stuck in a
That's
thing.
important.
I mean, don't go around being like, you queer, like, you know what I mean? Like, well, I mean,
I mean, you just it's almost
keep it
like
cute, but yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost like
It's cool.
saying the N word is what I'm saying. Like, you see somebody out that's dressed a little
Like it's like
different.
taboo in
It's
that
like
sense,
taboo.
right?
It's like, man, that's kind of queer, right? But the way I was raised, queer is not a word that you would say out loud because it would be offensive. So when you say queer, it automatically is like someone saying the N word. Like, yo, you don't say that.
Got you.
Yeah.
So that's
I
what I'm
definitely
asking.
can
Well,
say it.
I think a lot of it
It's
too,
definitely my word, but
in this space that we're talking about is a lot of people are not educated. And and I personally, and I tell people all the time, is my journey to get educated started right here.
Right.
And then from there you go and take what you learn and then you go further your education. But a lot of people are just simply not educated on something as simple as queer and what queer even stands for means. Yeah.
What was that education process for you too? Because again, it comes on both sides. Because when I look at it and I'm like, you obviously firsthand getting educated daily, because you're growing daily. So what is that process like for you two? When I look, I've obviously, we talked about it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
But to hear from you two now here,
Yeah.
in the space that's actually a little different from just like, oh, we're going to talk about like our lives. This is a little different, which I love. Because this is a little bit more barbershop talk in the sense where like let's be real with it. Like for you two, what was this? Like, what was the education process? Was there ever fear? Was it because obviously it was some ignorance there because you didn't know. There was some fear obviously because you wasn't sure. But then there has to be a trust there, which I do appreciate. But what was like that process like for you two?
Well, I mean, I think I'll go first is, first of all, when it's someone who you don't know or you may not have, you don't love or you don't care to get to know, you just don't. But when it's someone you love and someone, you want to be in their lives, you're going to sit down and you're going to find out, like, you're going to actually sit down and find out these things that you don't know. If you don't care about them, you're going to move on.
Right.
But this is my child. This is, I'm in love with my kids. And so, my job is to sit down, like me and Zaya have always, like I go and sit across Zaya's bed, and we have a 2 to 4 hour conversation. And that's a lot of times where, we get to talk and it's a safe space. Right. We say whatever, I ask whatever, and Zaya laughs because I'm the one who I will ask a question that I will ask that question that you would think that you shouldn't have said that. But I don't know. And so I ask whatever, and Zaya has expressed whatever. And so we built that kind of that communication, that safe environment amongst the communication amongst each other, that I feel that allowed me to get comfortable with what I did not know, or what I did not experience. And a lot of it became just from just a straight communication that we have. And it's like, it ain't no way around it. It's straight at it. And Zaya is a straight shooter. If you want to have a conversation with her, she gonna hit you right between the eye. And so it runs in the family. You know what I mean? And so that, from my perspective as a father, that's how I went into the getting to know my child and getting to know the things I didn't know. Is like, yo, I'm just gonna come in your room, I'm gonna lay across the bed, and we're just gonna have conversations, and I'm gonna ask questions. Good. And she's gonna give me answers, because like it's just us like throwing a ball in the backyard when we're young. This is no different. I'm getting to know you and you getting to know me. And so that's how I went into it.
The simple answer is I have no clue. After coming out, it was like a crazy experience because like I don't know either, right? Like I don't know everything, and I still don't know barely anything. So it was a very, very new experience for everyone involved, including me.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing in terms of like educating, a thing that I feel like most queer people want to express to their family members is that does not change like the fundamental things about them. I think a lot of people assume like, oh my God, my child's gonna be so different, blah, blah, blah. And only different in the ways that they're like liberated and free and not carrying weights, not different, like completely different personalities, which is just because like, I'm trans. Like that's not me. And I think that a part of us learning about the trans experiences is also me just getting more comfortable with you and talking to you about things. Cause I mean, okay. Chicago, African-American man. We talk about a lot of stuff. Not to stereotype, but not often do you have a full-blown conversation with a Black man. So it's hard. And there's a bit of like almost like a cultural barrier sometimes to talk to Black people about that kind of stuff, especially queer stuff. Man, they do not be liking us. Shout out to the Black community though, like reciprocate. But no, I think it was hard to break through like my stereotype of you even. I think people think it's like you trying to understand what being trans is like, but it was like me trying to understand what you were like, because I have this image of mainly just men in general, but especially a Black man is like, stuck in their ways and like rigid in those things that they don't want to like move past. And so I think I had to understand that that's just not true and let you in to understand me. And so like when you talk about conversations, like it reminds me like, our road trips, like when we just go on like little drives like around town and end up, just talking about super like deep stuff. It's like those moments for me are the best ways that I think I can communicate myself. It's not like I'm going to sit him down with like a PowerPoint presentation and be like, so this is like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's not me. Because I don't know everything. So I can't present everything to you, but I'm learning, and I'm also learning how to communicate those things. And so sometimes it kind of has to be like natural and in a conversation. It can't just be like, found out a new thing. Like, here it is. Like, And so, yeah, I think that was a big part of a learning curve for the two of us, is just our like more active, like daddy-daughter moments and, our like little dates and like whenever we go out and eat and this kind of stuff. Like those moments are where I feel like I can express myself the best and convey the most important thing to me about being trans is that it's not this like super duper personality, like changing, like I'm a completely different human being. I mean, there are a lot of differences about me, but I mean, this is happening during like formative years, right? I'm like 12, 13, 14. So obviously I'm going to be different just if I was trans or if I wasn't trans. People are changing all the time in teen years. So I don't think that really can be attributed to the trans part, but just as it stands, like I didn't just flip like 180 and was like, woof, now you got a whole new kid to think about. Like, no, I mean, there's a lot of new things to consider, but I think my biggest fear was feeling foreign in the family because people thought I was different. And I mean, I was a little bit, and definitely different than others because obviously this is new pretty much for the entire family. But yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. I think people ask me a lot, like in interviews and stuff and like whatever, like, oh, education is such a big part of like, being trans and like teaching people. And it's like, yeah, depending on what you want to teach. I think it depends. You have done so much of your own research. Like you said, you love to ask those awkward questions. But if anything, I need that because I'll never give an awkward answer unless you prompt it.
Yeah.
So thank you, by the way, because we would not have talked about at least 80% of what we do if you didn't bring it up. Because I just,
yeah.
Especially because I'm a teenager and we don't talk about that kind of stuff.
First of all, that's any kid.
That's true, right?
Yeah, like which kid is bringing up those awkward topics?
To their parents,
Yeah.
anything is awkward, they're not bringing it up.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're not bringing it up, you're never gonna know.
Yeah.
And I always told Zaya, I was like, and this have to be the most honest relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, even when we had our moments where, I only had a few times where I had to get on Zaya's ass. Zaya's been a great kid. A couple times I had to get on
So
Zaya.
you had to get on that.
No, a few times, but way less than other kids. But in one of our moments, remember me telling you, I was like, we have to just be completely honest with each other. You and I we're never guessing. We're never lying to each other. And so I think even from there, I think we grew so much in our relationship from that conversation because we had to lead with honesty.
Right.
It's a lot about me that you don't know, and it's a lot about you I don't know, and we trying to do this. And I'm here. I'm the one. I'm gonna protect you to the end. But I need to know that everything you're telling me is 100% truthful, and you know what I mean, and so forth and so on. And so once we got past that, it's been open.
We're doing pretty good, aren't we?
We've been doing pretty good. And so, yeah, really, really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, too, like, the trans conversation is not the entire conversation with us. This is 10% of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, this is, we have regular, just conversation about anything.
Yeah.
Chicken fingers, French fries, like
Remember our conversation on mustard?
yeah, mustard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to think that every time that Zaya and I sit down and have, this daddy-daughter time, and I tell you guys all the time, I always create moments with my village for my people, right? Especially my kids. I'm gonna find these moments to create with them. I date them all the time. And so I find these little small moments to date my kids, but that's the moments where you get a chance to get to know them. And then they get a chance to get to know you outside of, the father figure and the child figure that's in the home, right? And so when we get out of the home, we get in the car, we go to restaurants, we go to different places, we go to parks, the shield's off. And now we're just two people trying to get to know each other.
Yeah, he's sneaky like that.
Love it.
We need to know. We need to know. So yeah, man, it's very, very important. Zaya, we start talking about school, and this is the one thing right here where you don't play. Talk. And I always talk about my daughter is her whole life. I've saw one report card. It's looked the same from kindergarten to her senior year. I've saw one report card.
I already know.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't check report cards. I don't know what my count.
We check, and hers look the same.
I've never checked Isaiah's. His mom does, but I've never checked Isaiah or my daughter's report card because it goes back to what your daddy's doing, like the discipline, the standards, the expectation. When I sit you down, hey, I expect for you to do what you're supposed to do.
Facts.
I've done what I'm supposed to do. And the expectation is we ain't gonna be walking around here not taking care of business. Now, if I gotta come in like your dad, if I gotta come in and bust some ass, I'm going after my kids, but I don't have to do that. So I don't check his grades. I was listening the other day. His mom was like, Isaiah, so how did you, he said, I got straight A's. I'm on point. He going to college. My job is not to monitor and spoon feed my kids. And it's not to tell them who they gotta be. So I don't check grades either. I just don't. And he's going to college just like you. Y'all go to a tough school. And my job, I don't even think I've sat down and done a homework assignment with them in high school. Ever.
First of all, Zaya don't want to sit down with me and do the homework assignment because I don't know what she knows.
I don't know what's going on, but we can hire some people
if you don't
to do
get,
that.
yeah, boy.
Exactly.
But anybody you want to help you, I can go and find
Anybody but you.
Bob, I'm being honest, bro. As a father that's out here getting it, I've never sat down and done a homework assignment since high school.
That's okay, by the way.
That is.
I don't want any parent to feel bad about not helping their kid in high school. Especially in our school. Stop. Especially in our school. It's a little different. It's very rigorous. But no, I have help,
Yeah.
I have help. And thankfully, like with that privilege,
we
can focus on.
You have
I have an entire system.
Yeah, it's a system.
Even like the tutoring thing, right? Like
a system.
It's a system.
I'm a very big advocator of tutoring. I think it's necessary, whether you're super smart or not. It's just helpful. Like I would count myself as smart, but I also have a lot of things that hold me back. I have like ADHD. I have like spatial visual disorder, which it just means if words are too close together or too far apart, you like literally cannot read. It's and it affects your depth perception too. So there's a lot of things, and very blind. And so I've had a couple of things that have just like worked to cause some obstacles and throughout my school experience. So having administrators and tutors and, to help me out with that kind of stuff. I have 3 tutors right now.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
And it's a lot. It's a schedule, right? I have a history tutor. I have, I would say like an English tutor. Those are 2 very different things. People group them up together. Nope. And then I have a math tutor because I'm very science oriented. I've never really needed help with science, like especially since high school. Like I got it. I'm pretty good. If I need help, I'll ask my teacher. I'm cool. But English and history are always a challenge. I can be good. I have good grades, clearly, but it takes more work than anything. And as a part of the ADHD, like I get exhausted quick. And I have other things, I'm not just like in school, right?
Yeah.
Like I obviously I'm modeling too.
Yeah.
And
which we definitely gonna get to soon.
And so there's other things that I have to think about, which also thank God I have a team for that too, because I really couldn't handle it all by myself. So yeah, I mean, I have my school day. There's like a free block, so you can like work on homework and stuff, and you do what you do. And I come home and like immediately, like I get home around like 4:15 and 4:30. I have tutoring for about an hour, and on Wednesdays and Thursdays I have an extra like right after that at like 6 because it's 4:30 to 5:30. So at 6 I have math tutoring for an hour because they need help, and sometimes it's a homework assignment just not understanding certain language that's used in certain assignments. You might know how to do it, but the way that it's prompted, it's hard to get it. Or sometimes I have a really big test coming up and I need help studying. I'm not a solo studier. I definitely need to be able to talk to someone. A good way for me to study is to teach people things so I know that I know it. And so those things like work and they all come together to make sure that like I can succeed. That plus like some academic validation and like insane like clinical anxiety. Then you get straight A's.
Yeah. I mean, we started very young with Zaya when it came to the testing of this for her, even to know about the ADHD and about, the spatial, lettering. And this started very early.
Right.
This is very early. We did testing very young. This is all a part of the Zaya understanding the privilege that we have to be able to financially be in a place to have all these things that I never had. But therapists, Zaya has been seeing a therapist on forever.
Bless my therapist.
This is a part of the system that's created around our kids and definitely around Zaya. It's not just us. We can't do it. Thanks. And so when you talk about a village, our village go way beyond the individuals that you see around her. It goes to people that you have never seen of the village that helps Zaya Wade become this incredible human being you see in front of you.
So what's the ambition? Like, what was the ambition to, like, because you're obviously providing the resources to get to that point, but what was the ambition? Because you got to want to get straight A's. It's not like you got to want it.
It's a combination. I don't really know if I wanted straight A's, but I definitely I just wanted to succeed. I don't know if it was like get A's. I realized very quickly that the way school's set up, that is getting A's, which whatever. But I had a drive to succeed, and also like coming back a little bit to sports, like with my brothers and stuff. They took after you in that way, and they went into that world. So I think there was a bit of like competition. Like I was doing something different, and like than what the people around me were doing, and I felt like if I was going to do that, I needed to prove that I could do it well, or I made a good decision and not going into sports. Like I said, like I could have. I had the potential to, but that's not what I wanted. And thankfully, you gave me that choice. You gave all of us that choice, to be able to choose that path. And so, with that choice, it like sparked the drive and determination to like prove to you that you made a good choice. Definitely, because this tuition is crazy, and so I need to prove that you're getting at least your money's worth. At the very least, both of you.
I just like the fact that you found a lane and you got a team, but some people have a team and they don't utilize it. Some people got the same resources that you got and they don't capitalize on it. They're not great students. They're not putting in the work. They're not on a schedule. They're very hard to work with. They're very hard to communicate with, even if they have the resources. So it goes both ways. So even with you providing resources, I provide resources and you provide resources for our kids, it's really up to you to choose to capitalize on utilizing these resources. And then that's how you elevate yourself. That's how you become who you are. Because there's people that got resources that don't do shit with it, period. This is true. So people always talk about, she's lucky her dad did this, her dad did that, blah, blah, blah. But there's people that don't do shit. And their parents have created the ecosystem for them to be successful.
100%.
Yeah.
And they're not successful. So you making right choices. Yeah. And that's all you want kids to be able to do, is to be able to make decisions and choices. That's what I want for my kids, is I want to provide, like my daughter don't hoop. I thought I was going to be able to trick her into hoop. She went the other way. No, she's a volleyball, and then she's like telling me what she's really artistic. She got other things. I'm like, okay, let me just bag back a little bit. But the standard, the expectation will not change. I don't give a damn what she do. The expectation for the Howes, for the Johnsons, is high. So whatever you're gonna do, you gotta exceed. And that's
Rock
what you
out.
just said.
Mm-hmm.
You was like,
Rock out.
you're like, dang, I gotta be really good at this. You damn right you better be good at it because he gonna be on you.
Yeah, no.
That's beautiful.
That's what we do. It's a level. One of the things that now taking it to outside of school, now Zaya is now at a place where Zaya does more than just school, right? Like you talk about Isaiah, he's a student athlete. Well, Zaya is a student model business woman.
Yep.
And so I remember the conversation that we had, sitting on the front porch, and it was it was one of those moments again, I had to get in her ass.
Yeah.
And Zaya had so much potential, and there was so many things that she, would play around with and do. Like she'd take some acting. She'd do some acting stuff, right? Like she got down real far on one of these acting opportunities.
We don't need to bring
I'm not
this
gonna go to the whole thing. But she got this is what pissed me off. We don't
need to get
really far on an acting opportunity.
No, actually, we don't. We can. They don't need to hear. They don't need to
We
hear
don't have to hear about this.
what
I
happened.
don't need to give you all the
during that
details.
period of time.
But how it led to kind of, let's say, where we are today. And it kind of went from like, hey, all right, if we're gonna do anything outside of school, these are the expectations of it. But here it goes. If you are gonna do them, it has to be done the way that is comfortable for you, that makes sense for you, that works with your life, not no one else. I always tell you, people have visions for you and they have plans for you, but you have your own vision, your own plan. And so to release her to say, like, if we're gonna do this, you're gonna jump into this model world, these are the things we're gonna do with it. These are the things that I think as your parent, you should think about doing with it. And she took that conversation, she took those things, and she has went off and do it. So when you talk about a kid who's in school, you also talk about a kid who runs her own business, who is the CEO of her own business. Like I'm CC'd on 1,000 emails a day. We'll talk about that, Chantel. I'm CC'd on 1,000 emails a day, but I love to be able to see her running her own business. She has her own team. You're responsible for what with your own team? Payment.
Definitely payment.
She pays everyone.
That is
Daddy don't pay everybody. She pays.
But say that again.
She's responsible for paying. If she want stylists, if she want her hair, if she want her makeup, if she want whatever she wants, you have to know financially that you can.
She understands banking and financial.
You have to.
Well,
and so here you go, your financial advisor. Here go this. Learn all of this.
The amount of meetings I've had.
Because
I know about my finances enough now.
Man, come on.
We've gotten the end of year financial advising meeting when they tell you you're broke. And then they're like,
you broke every time.
Every single time. It makes you feel like it's like, so I'm out of money? They're
I've been
like,
broke for 20 years.
Out of my, I make a huge amount of money and then she's like, no, you still broke. I'm like,
how has that been though? How has that process of learning to be, on top of your business at the same time as dealing with school and your life, but running your business?
Well, honestly, the process has been horrible. The result has been great. I mean horrible because like I was a kid when I'm doing all this. I'm like 15 and I'm paying people? Well, crazy. Crazy. Wow. And I'm not, I wasn't responsible enough. And I still, honestly, I'm still figuring it out. But But I was not responsible at all when this all started. So it was like, to say learning curve is like not even close to what it was. I mean, it's beyond a word I can find, but it was something that is still going on. And it's been like, I would say like 3-ish years since I kind of like really started modeling and really started like getting people on my team and, my Zaya LLC and all that kind of came to be. And it was hard because I still do, but I really saw myself as like a kid who needed to be taken care of. And I didn't understand, like, this is my thing, not someone else's thing for me. Like, this is like my business. Like, I have to be the one to take care of it. And with so much help, gosh, not on my own. But it was in the like late night, like stress, listening to music, because that's how I deal with stress. Working on probably like studying for a test, but then also realizing that I have to get up at like 6 a.m. in the morning because I have like a 7 a.m. call time for modeling, or like you said, 800,000 emails. I would love to say that all of those could be summed up in a call, but if you ask me to like set up a call time, I'd be like, girl, just email me. It kind of goes back and forth. Anyways, all those like aspects that involve so many different people. And I realized that like I am in some capacity like a boss to, you know what I mean? Like I am, I still recognize like I'm a kid, these are adults, but like these people are working to like make sure that like I get as far as I've gotten in this world and further. and stuff like that. And I think when it really all came to a head was like Translatable. I think that's when it kind of changed for me, because that was so much more of a hands-on experience than the rest. Modeling is, for me, not for most, but modeling for me has been, I don't mean to sound like this, but like it's been relatively easy. Like everyone's really helped me. I've had amazing stylists, makeup, hair, agents, PR, like everyone is so good at what they do that they make it so easy to just be good at what I do. And I blink and I'm like there, like I'm on the runway and I'm walking. And it's like, you know, for me, all I have to do is show up and do my thing for like a couple minutes on that runway. But the people behind me who spend months making sure that I get there and that it all goes well for me, especially knowing that I'm a kid too. It's a lot of more care for, you know, an underage model. And all of that I recognize and I carry with me. But when Translatable was birthed,
yep.
it changed. It was different. It was something that was more mine than modeling. Yeah. Modeling is a career in a way. Mm-hmm. Translatable is like a passion, you know, and it's something that represents me and us.
Yeah.
And so the connection to it was so different that I had to like rework my mindset. And I'm still reworking it. It's still hard, and it's hard to be responsible, right? You look at a lot of teenagers who don't have to be so responsible all the time. And so sometimes it's really hard to hold myself accountable and always stay ready for the things that happen. There are a lot of things that like pivot. You know, I didn't realize that is how you're chilling. You're like, okay, I'm just going to go to school, do tutoring, whatever. And then like all of a sudden you have 2 interviews that night and you're like, what? And it's like, yeah, you don't remember 3 weeks ago when you gave that date? And it's like, girl, what? And so then all of a sudden you have to pivot and you have to get ready for this interview, or, you know, you have like a 2-day shoot and you have to be there for like 8 hours.
And Translatable is something that is built off of, you know, you have a team, but also too is led by Zaya. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
I want you to explain Translatable to everyone out there, right, as we are. We're almost 1 year from the date really soon coming up to when Translatable was kind of launched to the world.
Yeah, May 23rd.
May 23rd was when Translatable was launched to the world. Express Translatable and how we got there to Translatable and what Translatable is.
You want me to express how we got there? You are how we got there.
Well, I want you to tell the people.
Okay. Well, the intro really starts with you. So correct me if I'm wrong, since the idea of the space came from you. But I remember, I want to say we were in the car and we were going home and you had mentioned it like for the first time to me. And it felt very like out of body, like, yeah, like, okay, it's like a thing that you say. But as we get closer and closer and we filmed our like intro content video, and I got a trillion emails about design for it, I realized like what it was or what I wanted it to be. You know, truly like it's an online like safe space in my head, because I realized that I didn't personally have a lot of that, especially going through my trans journey during COVID. No such thing as safe during COVID, but especially online. So I realized that I needed a safe space for me, and I realized that other people need safe spaces for them, especially if you're physically in an area where there might not be as much safety, right? To just have not an escape, but just like a haven to go to and express yourself. A big thing for me is expression, and something that I've learned from you and the opportunities that you gave me is like expression is the only way I was really able to do this, to show up this way, to survive as a trans person. Expression was like everything, because you're so confused as a kid. Everything is like massive. Like my hair doesn't fall the right way and I'm like in shambles at 12. Like I'm just, whatever. Or I try to give myself an eyebrow slit and it doesn't go my way. And I shaved off my whole eyebrow. And those things, like it feels like it's going to ruin you. And it's even worse when they relate to your identity and who you really are. So I really wanted it to be a place where people could go and find a sense of community and really let their creativity like run wild and like be featured and have those moments of vulnerability, because I think that's what art is. I think it's so vulnerable. And like you said with my writing, you were able to find out parts of me through that. And that's true for everyone. Everyone puts pieces of themselves into art, at least good art. And I want those truths and those vulnerable moments to exist and not just be in, in someone's heart, because if it doesn't get out, then, that's where you are, right? You stay stuck inside the closet or whatever. You're in, you can't really like shine the way you should be able to shine. And I think that's a big part of what I wanted for it. And I think I didn't even know what I wanted for it until we were there and the camera's on us and we're filming our like intro video and, we're talking about it. I think it was in that moment that, first of all, that I realized like, this is actually real. This is happening. Like, this is going to launch right before my birthday party last year. Like, this is a whole thing. And it was just like this realization moment. And since then it's just become honestly like a haven for me. It's a place that I can go to that feels so comfortable when I'm so stressed out. Like literally 2 days ago, like I was, senior year is hard. We all know senioritis, which is true. And, it's really easy to feel very burnt out, like very quickly, especially having ADHD. It's like a whole other level of burnout. And so what do? I go on my iPad and I start brainstorming ideas for Translatable. I mean, that's kind of like my job, if you will, is like coming up with things. I mean, like you said, like it's what I want it to be and what I want it to do. And so there's always new things. We have some things in store. Don't worry. We'll get to it. And you'll actually see it this time, right?
I'm going to see it.
Right? Because I don't know why you didn't know about that before, but it's okay. It's okay.
I didn't know what it was.
To educate. It's me. I'm always doing something. I'm always brainstorming something. And then once I feel like it's like acceptable enough, I can, actually send it out and not feel embarrassed, because embarrassment still affects me. But it's in those moments when like I realize that this is something that can actually impact other kids and like community. And then even in the more technical side, and the like not so creative side, like our resources page and even like your closet with like the real, right? Like, I don't know if you really know, but a lot of people I know have reached out to me and have bought like a lot of the items that you had featured on there, by the way. People find those, and they find those resources and they send it to their parents, or they send it to their grandparents or cousins or uncles or whatever, or even friends who might be going through coming out or whatever they need. And it actually like has an impact, It's hard because you want this to be like everything. Like, I want this to be everything to everyone. But I realize that it doesn't have to be everything to everyone. Like, if it reaches that one person, if it's a space for that one person, it can be a space for anyone, right? Like, that's what I need. I need to know that it can be what I want it to be for even one human being. And then that's it. I want to make an impact. And I feel like when we think of making an impact, we're like, oh, the whole world has to know us. You know what I mean? And there are just too many billions of people for the whole world to know us. So it's just like, I can't be doing all that. But I can impact one person. I can impact two people. I can impact three, and so on and so forth. And
build a community.
Now we have tens of thousands of followers in Translatable.
And it's Translatable Project, right?
Translatable Project. I mean,
TranslatableProject.com, and also Translatable Project on IG.
You heard it.
You got that?
Yeah,
IG, Translatable Project, TranslatableProject.com. If you're going into the website.
I'll go follow it.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
So it kind of was birthed out of, in a conversation that Zaya and I had about, Zaya started getting so many opportunities in life. And a lot of those opportunities were coming from, Zaya coming out again and again to the world. But once people, heard that and knew that, Zaya, was comfortable coming out, they started coming with, opportunities. And a lot of those opportunities became paid opportunities, and then magazine offers, and just a lot of things. And we sat down and, talked about it. We're not doing this for the light. This is not why, you're doing any of this. And so, but because we're getting these opportunities, now let's create something and let's give back to something that is really meaningful for the community, right? We're not taking shine off the community, but we're going to make sure that we provide something that is very big for the community because of these opportunities that you're getting. And, and that's why I have a charity. That's why I have a foundation, right? Because of, too much is given, much is required from me. And what's required from me is to make sure that I continue to give back. And so this was Zaya's give back to her community. And it was like, okay, now what is it that you wish you had? And that's what it would be. And that birthed Translatable, because Zaya wished she had a community that was a safe haven that she was able to go to. And it was birthed out of what Zaya wished she had, and also to just understanding, because of these opportunities that she's getting, we're going to make sure that we pour into the community. And that's kind of how we birthed Translatable.
Have you seen anything as far as, like, it's coming up on a year on the 23rd. In this process, like, what's the impact that you've, like, for you? Like, is there, again, we don't need to get into the details of the story, but, like, there's been, like, a moment where you can say, this is why I did this. Like, from the people that's been a part of,
like somebody coming up to you,
like,
having that moment.
Like, did you get any of those moments? Or?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind was when we were in Miami for your statue, the When We Gather. So it's towards the end of the party. It's hot. It's Miami. I was ready to go. I'm like, whoa, let's get up out of here. And there were these two women who came up for me who were like kind of running their own nonprofit in Miami. And yeah, they came up to me and they were like, oh my God, hi, like, we really want to talk to you. And honestly, especially when I'm in Miami, I assume when people want to talk to me, it's about him. Because, like, what else? I mean, I don't feel like Miami famous like the way you are, or like the way my brothers feel Miami famous. It's very different, very different style. That was not shade. It was. And I think when I'm there, I feel like, okay, it's about you. And plus, this is a statue. Like, that's your weekend. So I'm assuming, like, okay, it's for you. But no, she was like, I really wanted to thank you for Translatable and what you've done, because what I realized is, even if it's small, even if it doesn't have, like, the biggest impact, those organizations, those nonprofits, they build up. Like, they're a part of a collective. You know what I mean? Whether they're actively or passively collaborating, there's always this sense of community in just the actual organization themselves, not even just the members, but all of the trans organizations and queer organizations that are here, that are meant for members of this community. They really build. And it's nice to have multiple mediums. You don't want just one organization helping one person, right? That doesn't make sense. There are other things that you want. Like you said, what did I want to see for myself? There are a ton of things that I could have chosen in a direction for Translatable, but that's something that I didn't see as much. And so I wanted that. There are so many wonderful organizations out there. I mean, obviously the Trans Wellness Center, we go there all the time. Yep. Trans Latin Coalition. I mean, the Human Resources Campaign, like the Human Rights Campaign, and like everything. There's so many. There's hundreds, and we need more, but there's hundreds. And I just want to be able to represent that niche for someone. And they have those two women, they had members of their nonprofit who were so excited when we came out with that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is cool. Especially Miami, like locals to the Miami area, they know you. And they really look up to you. They look up to me to an extent, but they look up to you because, like, you're Dwyane Wade. You were the one that they saw on their screens all the time. So then when they see you being so accepting to your kid for coming out as trans and all that, they realize that it's not this, like, unattainable thing. It feels impossible. Like it unfortunately, that's just what it is. It just feels like it can't happen for you. Mm-hmm. So you need to see it, because if you don't see it, then, like, how is anything going to happen?
We all need to see it.
And we talk about that in so many other ways, not just, being trans or being queer or anything. In terms of race and gender and all that, we need to see it. We need to be able to see those people up there so that we can understand that it's something that we can do too. And so many people were so excited to hear about Translatable and so inspired, because I really feel like it's kind of like the culmination of just such a shocking moment to so many people, to, like, see you give so much support to your kid when I feel like a lot of people might have expected you wouldn't. And then they realized that made them shift their mindset. Because, you, like I said, this, like, the African-American man, you kind of put something on them. You're like, it ain't gonna be him. It's not gonna be him. And it's him. And it's someone that you look up to and you admire. And so many people look up to you and admire you. So many of those people are, like, forced to internalize your story and our story. And then they understand that they too can change for their kids and for other people, no matter what. And even themselves, like, even coming out for themselves. And that's something that I got. And it was awesome to see it in Miami. I mean, I love Miami. Obviously, I'm from there. But I mean, it is Florida still.
It is still Florida, you're right.
It's not something, I don't go to Florida and expect to, like,
Well, yeah, Florida's a little different temperature.
I don't get, and Miami
Texas is a little different.
is very
Texas as
different
well.
Texas
Right.
in
is
comparison to some other places.
Right.
So I will give it that. It's like it's like the Austin of Texas. Like, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got that side of the world who accepts, like who look at it that way for me, and then you got the other side who, because of my acceptance, I'm a part of the community, right? Like so we live in. You get a chance to hear the other side when it comes to social media and people that go viral to talk about it. But this is the other side of the world who get a chance to understand and see the acceptance of me loving my child, but then the thankfulness and appreciation of that, because like now you get to see it. Now I really get to see someone who I didn't think would actually is, and actually full support, actually fully loving. And so we get to feel that love. That's why the hate doesn't fuck with you, because the love is so full. You know what I mean? And you get to experience it. And so she gets the chance to experience it. I get the chance to experience it as well. And so, I can cross my legs and feel comfortable and confident. I can paint my nails and feel comfortable and confident. You know what I mean? Because, these are people they're not putting me in a box because of they probably did have me in a box.
Right.
But then I showed them that
unbox yourself.
That I unbox myself.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
I think.
I mean, it's crazy.
No,
I'm just learning a lot, because, when you're raised in the church, right? And in the church, in the South, and I'm going to use queer, and I'm going to try to use it properly.
There you go.
Right? It's a lot of queer in church. We've seen it, whether it's the neighbor next door, my boys I'm hooping with, we looking at his brother, people. His dad didn't know how to communicate that. Like, we seen it, we knew it. We was like, but you just didn't have the conversation. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, when they graduate, they move, they change cities. And then later on as an adult, they come back and it's like, bam. But we knew it, and then other people like, well, they went and came out the closet. So just to hear this conversation and the community, I can imagine that it could be really lonely, because you got people in your family that are queer, and it's just like, oh, that's just how he is, or that's how she is, or whatever. But I don't know how much conversation is taking place.
Oh, it ain't none.
It ain't
a lot of conversation taking place.
And so how much. So now I'm thinking,
how much conversation.
So I'm just thinking
nothing.
It could be a lonely journey,
right?
Which anytime a human being feels alone, me as a 46-year-old grown man, I don't want to feel like I'm alone, on a journey trying to figure something out. You need a team. You need people around you. Yep. You need people to survive. I was listening to a quote the other day where this guy was talking about the fastest way for someone to die. Solitude. By themselves. So you want somebody to die quick? Take away everything from them. They out of there. And I was like, wow. So really, we're all meant to have community. And that's what I was just trying to figure out, like, wow. Like, even, if it's not that community, I'm thinking in my head, like, for my two kids, son and a daughter, like, dang, they need more community. I'm trying to build, mentorship for my daughter, because I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I have no clue what it's like. So she's going to need mentorship and community outside of her mother. You know what I mean? She need women that are like a little older, but not too old, and you need a mix, right? So that's all I'm thinking about sitting here as a parent. I'm like, dang, I got to do a better job of fostering.
That's a part of your parents' responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like your only responsibility as a parent is not just to provide.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? And I understand that at a time that is a very important part of it.
Yep.
But you do have to make sure that you look at your child, you try to get to know your child, and you try to provide community around your child and not your community. I'm not trying to provide a sports community around Zaya. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to provide, opportunity and community around Zaya that Zaya's gonna grow and succeed and flourish and blossom, right? But that's a part of parenting. Yeah. And a lot of times with parents, we are very lazy in our parenting.
Facts.
You know what I mean? We will get one kid and just be like, oh, y'all got to be like, no. But Zaya was the one who changed that for me because, he throw this ball and let's go. There go this ball, let's go. Zaya was like, get that ball in my face. Threw that mug right back. And so it makes you have to go out and figure out how to parent this child and build community around this child and build a system around this child, which is way different than this child and this child. And so, this lazy parenting is going on. And when I hear things, when people talk about, I don't get mad at people. I don't know how you feel when you hear comments of people, whether it's, positive or negative. I don't get mad at people. I just look at them like, that's lazy. It's lazy. You haven't educated yourself. You're not taking the next step when it comes to your responsibility as a parent to actually get to know the child that you birth and what they see for themselves and what they want for themselves, and building that around them and taking yourself and putting your ass over here.
Right.
Because we like to make our lives about our kids' lives. Sometimes you got to remove yourself and then just focus on them.
I would. This is. I'm gonna pull you on this one in the sense where I commend you, dog. Like for real, when I think about the fact that, like, you shown me how to love your children unconditionally. And as people say, that's a word that people say, oh, love unconditionally, that's such an easy thing. It's
say that easy, don't they?
Oh, love unconditionally.
Don't they say it?
What? Until you have to.
Until you have to.
Love unconditionally.
They be throwing out that word like it's game.
Like it's nothing. But then so you have to really do it. Because you'll hear people say, well, whatever the comments will be. And for you to be able to say, like, listen, I'm learning this process, but your story from day one has always been, that's my child. I'm gonna love my child, regardless of whatever it's gonna be. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be there for my child. Like I'm getting goosebumps when I think about it. Like that's like I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do for my child. And the thing is to hear, like as me watching, like, I was so crazy. I be looking at some of the comments as like I've known Zaya since 2-3. Like so for me,
You get defensive. You get.
I be wanting to get into the comments.
Ready to go. Yeah, I know you ready to roll up on somebody.
But I fall back. But for me to see that level of that's love. That's like the purest form of it that I've ever seen.
You know the word for that. I don't know if you know the word for it, but there's a word for that. It's called agape.
Right.
Agape love.
Right? And when you read the word agape, it's a love that's expressed beyond. And I think that's hard for us as human beings to not judge anybody.
Facts.
And to have agape love for you. So that's a work in progress all the time, is because you have your view or expectation of what you want for them.
Right.
And that's in every relationship, not just a parent relationship. People don't have agape love. And the reason why I say that is because, like, we can have agape love for our kids, us three. But let your woman do something that's out of pocket or something that you don't want. You ain't got the same love for her. Because agape love is only given in places that the blood is there or something like that. So you don't give people grace to make mistakes. Human beings are not perfect. I watch it all the time. I'm like, oh, you gave grace over here with agape love, but let me cut up. Let me cut up. Because if I cut up, it's a problem because you don't have agape love for me. You say you love me, but you really don't.
Love is conditional.
Yeah, love is conditional.
Love is conditional.
All conditional.
Yeah.
So when you start to talk about agape love and really show someone that they could be who they're designed to be, it takes a special gift. It takes a special person to be open to saying, hey, I'm just on this person's journey.
Yeah.
Because we all have this journey. We're born in this world, and we'll be going or leaving this world by ourselves. So why wouldn't we just Why we gotta put everybody in the box?
Yeah. No, you said something. I know we're a little over an hour, so I wanna get to a couple more things with Zaya before we go. Zaya, you had just come out with you've been doing a lot. And I know we graduating soon and graduation's coming up, and that is the most important thing next to your 18th birthday coming up. But also, you just came out with a MAC campaign. You just came out with a Chanel campaign. You were just on the cover of 17 magazine. Like, you've been doing it, dog. Talk about those experiences. And I know that that's not you, like, that's not the final thing for you. That's not, you ain't made it because you did those, but those are cool moments. Those are small wins. Because, you know, your team and you have worked for those things. So talk about those moments to be able to be, you know, in that MAC campaign, that Chanel campaign, and being on cover of magazines. Look at you, there was a little blusher there. Look at the
everything's different. You know, each one is its own thing. Like 17, like the point. I mean, it's in the name, right? It's kind of celebrating those last moments of like childhood, even though, let's be real, I'm not done. But, you know, as it stands, those last moments. And so I think for me, for that, it was like a celebration of like my last year before being like an adult, which is like crazy and weird and like disgusting and oh my God, what? and then for Chanel, right? It's jewelry, it's clean, it's Chanel, so it's like iconic. And so for that, it's the win of being able to be a part of a brand that has so much like lasting impact, right? And also sometimes it's about wearing some really cool jewelry.
Say it again. We love some cool jewelry.
I had that watch on, I was like, so do I get this? Or, you know what I mean? And then like for who, what, where, you know, it was fun and it was so random. I mean, the bunny and like motorcycles, they're just things that I wouldn't find myself in. So that was about putting myself out there in different environments. And MAC, I mean, that was cool. It was very different for me. It was, and I've expressed this, it was very different. Even like the aesthetic that I was giving very like juicy couture, like pink, like a very like, well.
It was real hot girl like. It was real hot girl like.
It was a vibe. And I mean, you know, iconic runs in the family being the like, tagline, so yeah. It's a little, there's a little extra like level of confidence that goes in that. And so for me, that helped me realize though, like what that slogan means. Like it helped me understand like that the word iconic can be used for me as well. You know, I use it for like a lot of things, but I can also use it for myself. So I think I gain lessons from each campaign, from each magazine, from this and that. Aside from it just being really cool, I gain something. It gives me a lesson that I can take, and I truly believe like it really impacts my life and the way I move about it. I mean, the most important part is seeing your face on anything, really.
Of course.
Love my teachers. And our photography room, my 17 cover, the little booklet is like in a little stand area. And that's where I eat lunch every day.
Oh, that's fire.
So you can walk in and you can like see my cover and on the campus, basically. It's cool. It's like, it's so weird. It feels so out of body, but then I realize it's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's me and I'm doing these things, and it's very confidence boosting. And that's what I need, because it's really easy to lose my confidence. Like I'm not saying like for everyone, but for me, like I can run out of confidence quick. So it's quick. It's very nice to have those moments and those wins to reference and to call back to, and to realize like that, like I did that, and that just like consistently fuels me. Like, you know, I mean, and to know that it's like during this, like I am, you know, birthday and prom and this and senior year and whatever, but I'm also like on the cover of like 2 magazines and I've done 2 campaigns. Like knowing those things, those dualities about me are just
boss.
I mean,
boss.
I wasn't trying to say it.
I mean, it's iconic.
I'm gonna just keep saying it.
It's iconic.
It truly is.
Iconic runs in the family. Listen, me and your stepmom guy, we appreciate the nod.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you. You know what I mean?
You're
letting
welcome.
them know that we are part of the family.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, they had me in the jersey with the MAC on the back, or on the front, actually, maybe.
MAC was on the front, yeah.
As a tribute. And in, a little press conference moment.
Yeah. No, it was.
I had to give you a shout
we
out.
appreciate the nod.
I had to give you a little something.
Yeah, that was hit the heartstrings. You know what I mean? I saw the campaign. I got a little wet. Got a little wet in the eyes.
He don't cry for nothing.
Right.
I ain't cry. I got a little wet in there.
His eyes don't sweat for nothing.
Misty.
His eyes don't.
Yeah, a little mist.
So
But the one of the cool things about that, and it leads right into where we're going, is because of that, those campaigns, because of those opportunities, you build relationships, right? And you built an amazing relationship with Mac, where Mac is going to be the sponsor of your 18th birthday. And I wanted you to talk about your 18th birthday for everyone out there. Give any information you want about your translatable ball.
Right.
Shout out to Mac.
Shout out to Mac.
Shout out to Mac.
Shout out to literally everyone who put this together, to Calypso Pink Lady, to Translatable, to just every single person who made sure that this got done, guys. Like this is so hard. This is so touch and go. My team will tell you there's a couple of moments where I was like, maybe we just shouldn't do this. Like it was hard because, and I'll explain like what it is. So it's a ball, but it's not like a Regency like Bridgerton ball. Like it's what's called a Kiki ball. And if you've ever watched the show Pose, like it's the best way to explain it because you'll have already kind of seen what it's about. But there's houses, there's members of the trans community in these houses. Imagine it as like a group, like a group of members who want to participate. And there's a long runway. There's a trillion categories, and certain houses walk in certain categories, and there are judges. And whether it's face, it can be fresh face or new, or it's like eleganza, like, you know what I mean? It's like these things, and they really put to the test like these members. And a Kiki ball specifically is a younger adult kind of audience. It's more the kind of like 17, 18 to like 21, 22 age, and that is like the term Kiki kind of invokes that. And so I wanted that because it's my 18th. I wanted to also represent like my age demographic. And a big part about it was, like you said earlier, about giving back to the community, right? Yes, I'm hosting this technically, but this is like the community. This is not, yes, I'm trans, and yes, these are trans members, but balls and house and all of these aspects, these cultural aspects are something that you can't just pick up and mimic and like throw a party for. And so that's why I say I had faltered a couple times, because I really wanted to make sure that we were doing this right. And we had the approval of the community. This isn't something that we can just do. This is something that needed to be given to us, something to be trusted with in order to not ruin it, I mean, not that it can be, but it's not ours. They're giving it to us. It's something that we are so lucky and privileged to be able to display for the community. And really, it's another way to give back. And I'm not a spoiler. I'm not a spoiler. So I'm not going to give everything away, because but it's just like the most fun, explosive, under the sea, because there's a bit of a theme. And like 18, being birthed into a new world, being an adult, just kind of experience that it feels like it's everything that I've been kind of working towards for the year. You know what I mean? Since Translatable came out, it's been like, okay, like what are we going to do? Like, what's the thing that's just going to like blow up, and it's going to be like amazing. And it's this just like explosion of color and culture and fun. And so obviously, like, of course, my 18th is like the time to do it, right? Like that.
Perfect time.
It's the perfect time. It's ready.
Is this invite only? How do you get invited? Do you get to buy tickets?
You did get an invite, right?
Yeah, I got invited.
Okay.
Because I don't know what's going on,
Just
everybody.
making sure,
I'm getting invited to this party.
Just making sure.
To this ball. Sorry.
There were invites sent out. Don't worry. But it's so cool. And on the topic of Mac, right? Like coming in, and there's gonna be so many products. We have like a workstation kind of to like create, kind of customize like a little jean jacket moment. And there would be like translatable gear as well. And so there's more to it than just like watching. But this is something that is so cultural and that a lot of people don't know about. And I mean, even I don't fully know about it, right? Like I'm not a house mother. I don't know everything. And it's something that I really want people to get a grasp, have that understanding, know what it is, connect with it maybe. And whether it's participation, whether it's music, whether it's whatever it is, there's so many aspects to this, like it beyond me. And I want people to connect with that, and I want them to understand at the point of this being centered around, Translatable's 1-year anniversary, my 18th. This is such a big time for me and for what I want to give to everyone, to the community, to the members of my community, and I really want it to just be a night of fun. It's a little late, not gonna lie. 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. is a little late even for me. He likes to say I'm an old woman. You said it 2 days ago. He's right. I like to go to bed very early, but also because I have a lot to do. So, I get a little tired every once in a while. So 1 a.m. is definitely I will be out.
We're going to be in these streets.
I will definitely be out.
Be in these streets.
But I want it to give that. I want it to give a night out. I want this to be a night of fun. And so then back on what you're saying about tickets, like, yes, it is. There are tickets, but you can totally buy them. I encourage you to buy them. Please come. I did the design myself, so they're pretty cool. I will say so myself. But no, it's available to anyone to come experience what their community or people who are in their community that they might not even know are there, or what they do, and how the things that actually go on in this region. We say like LA County or LA community. No one knows what that is. People ask me like, where are you from? I'm like, LA. They're like, what? I'm like, I don't even know. Like I really don't know where or what LA is, and I haven't lived here long enough to figure it out. But it's so many things, and there's so many people from here who have zero clue about things that really exist here and have existed here for a long, long time. And I want this to be a night to remember and for people to understand and recognize such a big part of queer culture, trans culture, because trans culture is queer culture, and to also, just celebrate my 18th birthday, give me a little shout out.
Hey.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
It's definitely gonna be one of those nights.
So everybody, Translatable Ball is coming. We appreciate Mac. We appreciate everybody's support. This is gonna be, the moment, as you get to, the last couple of days of being a kid. Right, because you're stepping into that next side.
Minor.
Yeah.
We'll keep it pretty technical.
Yeah. So Zaya, as we get to the end of this, I want you to look in your camera right here, and we give our guest the final say. And if you could look in that camera and give your final say, and this final say can be to anyone who wants to look in the mirror and see themselves, and really see themselves, and be truthful with themselves. Give me a final say to them. What would you say to someone who needs to look in the mirror and see themselves?
At the end of the day, you're the one looking at yourself in the mirror, nobody else. So do what you need to do, not what other people need you to do.
Simple like that.
Just like that.
That's it.
Just like that.
Just like
Just
that.
like that. That's it.
Hey,
Bang.
she said it.
It's the man
Bob,
in the mirror.
Chris, our guest Zaya.
He's asking.
I'm Dwyane Wade. Thank you guys for taking the time out with us. Peace.
Yeah.